Hey guys, so I am back with a contouring and highlighting video. I'm really excited to film this video. This is my third video so far, so just comment down below if there's any other kinds of videos you want to see me film. So I just wanted to go over, before I start with the video, what is contouring and highlighting and why we do it. So contouring and highlighting is when you try to restructure your bone, when you try to restructure your face. So you are creating shadows, so like in your cheekbones and on the sides of your nose and your forehead, where you want where the light would naturally not hit someone that's very slim, and then you are highlighting and bringing forth where the light naturally hits anyone. So that's gonna be your forehead, down the bridge of your nose, and then the tops of your cheekbones. So generally what you use to contour and highlight, you can use both powders and you can use both powders and creams. So we are going to use both today. So if you want to learn more about how to contour and highlight with both cream and powders, just keep watching. Thanks guys. So I'm just going to start off by building my base, and I'm going to start doing that with priming my face with the Benefit POREfessional. And then, just as with any pore fighting primer, you want to try to tap it into the areas that are most problematic. So for me, that's around my nose and then my forehead. So now I'm going in with my L'Oreal True Match Lumi, which is one of my favorite drugstore foundations. And I'm using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which I didn't have time to clean before this. And I am just going to dab this all over my face. And then buff this around. And I'm going to build this up slowly. The key to having a good contour is to have a pretty flawless base. And so that's why I'm going to be careful to build this up. And then I also want to make sure that I don't put too much on once, or else I'm going to have a cakey base and then nothing else looks good. Everything else kind of looks tacky. So now that I've finished up with my foundation, I'm going to move on to my highlighting and my contouring. So in order to highlight and contour, I'm going to start off with my cream products. I'm going to be using a concealer that is too light for me. So in MAC, I'm usually in NC25, and this is NC15, so it's pretty bright. And then I'm also going to be using the MAC Prep and Prime highlighter. And so this is also going to help me to highlight and give me that glow. Then in order to contour, with my cream, I'm going to use a foundation stick that is way too dark for me. So this is the Maybelline foundation stick in Toffee Caramel. So then with this, I am going to go in the hollows of my cheeks, and then the temples, the forehead, and then the nose. So before I blend this out, I am going to put on a highlight as well so you can see how it looks. I'm starting with my matte concealer that it's too light for me, and I'm going under my eye. And then I'm also going to be using this, putting that down my nose, and then on my forehead. And then I'm going to be going with my MAC Prep and Prime, which just turns up like that. And I'm going to go kind of complete that triangle. So I used to use the matte concealer in NC20, and I found that didn't brighten enough, but when I use just NC15, it looks really unnatural. So this Prep and Prime highlighter really helps me to diffuse that look out. And now I'm going to go in with my beauty blender, and I'm going to start by doing my highlight, and then after that I'm going to go to my contour and blend it all out. Or not beauty blender, I'm sorry, this is a beauty sponge. It's not the real one. And it is totally fine to have to do this in multiple steps. I usually do the contour and then I go in with the concealer and then I blend that out and then I blend out the highlighter. The reason I'm doing it is just so you can see visually like what are the areas that need to be highlighted and what are the areas that need to be contoured to act as a guide. Alright, so now that I've blended out my highlighter, I'm going to blend out my contour. So I'm just going to use this e.l.f. small stippling brush, and I'm going to brush up and down very lightly from my nose, because if you aren't careful, you can spread it out, and then you're just going to ruin that highlighting you did. And then for all the rest of this, I'm going to use a circle motion. If you find that it's too dark in an area, you are better off blending it up than down, because if you blend it down, then you're just going to make the whole bottom half of your face look dark. And then you're not going to look like you have a contoured face, you're just going to look uneven. And these dual fiber brushes are just fantastic for blending out a cream. So now I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques setting brush and then my L'Oreal True Match powder in N2, and I'm going to set anywhere that I highlighted. This is super important, so if you use something that's the color of your usual skin, you will not look like you highlighted it at all. It'll look like highlighted for a few hours and then eventually it's just going to fade. So you really want to use a powder that is lighter than your skin tone and that matches your highlight in order to set that. And make sure that it stays all day. I also put foundation on my eyelids, and I'm just putting this over it because I'm not really planning on doing an eye look today. So now I'm going to go in with my pressed powder for my skin, and the color I'm using is Beach, and it's the NARS pressed powder. You can see I'm hitting pan, but I am biting that baby. I am determined to use it all before I go on to the next one. And then I'm just going to go everywhere. Even if you put it over the contour, it'll be fine. Some people skip this step because they're going to put powder bronzer on anyway, but I found that this really helps to set it. So now I'm going to go in with a bronzer, and this is the NARS Laguna, and this is, you really want to get a bronzer that is pretty much matte, which this is. This does have some gold flecks, but it doesn't really show up on the skin as shimmery. And you want to make sure that your bronzer is pretty, it's more like yellow based, because when you get ones that are more red based, they can ultimately end up looking orange. And I'm going to go on with this Real Techniques contour brush and just go over where I did contour in the first place. If I'm looking to do something a little less precise, I will use the a Sephora large domed bronzer brush, and that just gets everywhere and it blends out pretty easy. But I am planning on doing something a little more of a precise contour that's a lot more dramatic. And then when you go down your nose, you just want to be very careful just to lightly touch it. Whatever you're doing with the contour, you really do want to have a light hand, especially at first. You will eventually learn like how intense you can be with your brush, but it is really hard to fix putting too much bronzer on. And then I'm just going to go back under the lip. So now I'm going to go in with blush, and I am using my new favorite blush. This is the NYC Color Wheel in Rose Glow. I don't know, this was on sale, and I was kind of skeptical of it, but I decided to try it. And it's got so it's got 3 different shades that are matte, and then it's got these pink ones of shimmer, and it comes off really pretty on the cheek. And you're just going to go over that. So you're going to have bronzer in the hollows, and then on top of the cheekbone you're going to have the blush, and then right up here we're going to just put that highlight. So now I'm just going to finish up highlighting on the top of my cheekbones, and I'm going to be using TheBalm's the Luminizer. And I dropped mine, so it's a little powdery, so I'm not going to show you what it looks like, but it's a pretty gold. And I'm using the Sephora fan brush. Sorry about the tapping. I'm just brushing it right at the top. And this is very pigmented, so you want to be sure to use a light hand. And then just using, once again, the tiniest amount, I'm going to go over that highlight. Now I'm just going to use my powder brush once more, and I'm not going to put any more product on it, and I'm going to sweep up. And this just helps to make sure that everything really is blended out. Well, a lot of people just like to use a clean stippling brush for this, and that works just as, or a clean duo fiber brush, I guess you can call it, and that works just as effectively. This is just what I like to do because it's usually right next to me. And so now I am just going to, finish up this look, putting on some mascara. This is Jordana Best Lash Extreme. And then I'm going to finish up with NARS. And so now I'm just going to finish up this look with NARS lipstick in Dolce Vita, which is just like a dusty rose. And this is just very natural lipstick. And I just forgot really quickly, but I'm going to do my eyebrows, so I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Soft Brown. And then I'll do an eyebrow routine later, but this is just going to go pretty simply, where I'm just going to fill it in the brow. I'm not really trying to add a major arch to it. I'm just trying to make them look more full and defined. And that is it. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.